Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and if you are new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. As the title suggests, we'll be discussing 10 non-yarny things about Carrie. So it took all day yesterday, and it's now like 3:30 here. Hence the like super bright weird light that's creating this bizarre diffused effect. The sun is literally like right out my window. Because I didn't know what to say about myself that I hadn't already said at this point. So we'll dive in. There are three that are kind of similar, but distinctly different from each other. But the first one is I have social anxiety. I get constantly nervous. Sorry, Pippin's in my lap. That's why I keep looking down. When I'm in social situations, I don't get paralyzed, but I can feel my anxiety rising, and I do tend to hit a tipping point where I either start babbling and saying stupid things, or I shut down. It gets a little peoply outside of my house. I have crippling stage fright. When I was in theater, it wasn't too much of an issue when I was playing characters, but talking as myself to people, I could control my voice and I could make myself do it. But there were a number of times where, like, if I had to hold something, you'd slowly, I've actually got a great story to demonstrate this. So when I was in 9th grade, we took a class that was called Strategies for Success. And we had to give up and give a presentation very similar to this, where we were talking about our families and ourselves. And we had charts that we did on paper that were our visual aids. And if you were just listening to me, you would have never known I was petrified. But by the end of it, my hands were literally doing this, where my face and my voice had stayed completely still. And, most of the people in the class were actually fairly cool about that. They just thought it was really weird that I had no problem playing a character on stage, but couldn't talk in front of a room as myself. So yeah, I actually have stage fright. It took me, after my husband started trying to talk me into starting my YouTube channel, it took me 8.5 months to be willing to do it. And sometime in August, I hit a breaking point where I'm tired of can'ts and I'm trying to lead a life of cans, and I always have, but there have been certain things that have always been can'ts, shouldn'ts, and doing a YouTube channel, like, it's kind of nerve-wracking. So, in August, it was actually the week we were in Portland, and a couple days before my birthday, I actually looked over at my husband and was like, okay, I'm going to start a YouTube channel when we get home. So, and he's exceptionally supportive. I mean, after all, it was technically his idea that I go ahead and start a channel. I love music, and not just, I like turning on music, or I like listening to the radio. I used to play music a lot. I listen to a wide variety of music. Music energizes me. When I'm cleaning and stuff, I can clean the entire day if I can jack up some music and listen to it throughout the house. But like, as soon as I sit down and turn the music off and just watch TV, like, my energy is immediately gone. But I constantly have music playing in the house, especially when I'm here by myself. Just kind of keeps me going. I like a wide variety of music. I listen to a lot of classic rock from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's kind of my wheelhouse, but I do like, I like disco. I like the Bee Gees. I like ABBA. Uh, like, I'm not ashamed of it, because if you take a step back and actually listen to the Bee Gees and listen to ABBA, like, they actually had good music, but it's a little funny still. My happy playlist literally can go from Ozzy Osbourne to Loretta Lynn to I'm trying to think of Santana, back to, who knows, Van Halen. And my husband is also really big into music, so it's one of the things that, you know, when we're bored and can't think of things to do, we listen to music. He'll play music. We sing here at the house. I'm not exactly a great singer, but, yeah, I really genuinely love music, and, I joke I have like a brain radio. I can, when I'm bored and everything is really quiet, I can constantly listen to different songs in my own head, just because I listen to music so much. I can recall a number of songs if I want to listen to them. Kind of like having earwigs, but on demand. I love cooking and I love food, but I don't like cooking when I have to cook. If I just wake up one morning and decide I want to have a giant meal, or I want to bake a cake, or I want, you know, homemade spaghetti sauce, that's fine. But even if you love something, like, there are days where you just can't bother and you have to push through and do it. And I loathe cooking on those days. So, like right now I'm kind of in a rut because I feel way overfed from Christmas and nothing sounds good anymore because I've eaten all the things that I really love. Whether they're good for me, bad for me, or like me as much as I like them. Stuck it in. So it's actually kind of hard for me to come up with something to eat or something that I actually want to eat right now. Like, truth be told, like, what I really want are salads, and I can't feed my husband salads for dinner every night. He might leave me over that. Back to the anxiety and stage fright kind of thing. I'm an extroverted introvert. I enjoy sharing with my friends. I enjoy my friends, but it's a little people-y out there. When it's time for me to be done, it's time for me to be done. And I will, not so much close down, but just being around anybody starts to feel claustrophobic for me. Generally that's the kind of time where that light is getting weirder. It's literally like having filters because of the way all the light bounces off in here, because all the fixtures are white and the ceiling is that weird purple gray color. I did double check my camera to make sure that I didn't have a filter on it. But it's getting weirder as the video continues. I'm getting that. It's like a spotlight. I've got a ring light to my right. If this side of my room were nicer looking, I would actually turn the camera that way most days, but it's not very nice looking. I have a very wicked, twisted sense of humor. I mean, I'm talking like South Park, Rick and Morty, twisted sense of humor. I do wish, it was one of my frustrations as George Carlin's career went on. Him and Richard Pryor almost seemed like they were in a fight to see who could throw as many dirty words in there as possible. Well, I have no objection to cursing. Cursing for the sake of cursing is just kind of boring for me. But yeah, There are some episodes of South Park where I'm kind of embarrassed at how hard I have laughed at those, or Rick and Morty, where it's just like, I can see exactly where that came from. And that is funny. I'll be talking more about this in the next video I film. But it's not just that. Not that I laugh at others' true misfortunes. If somebody gets hurt or harmed, I don't think those are funny. But when somebody has a misfortune due directly towards their own bad behavior, like the customer who's cussing out the cashier at the store who comes out and finds that somebody hit their car while they were shopping. That kind of karmic thing. That's the kind of schadenfreude that I have, where I laugh at others' misfortune, but it's directly due to their own negligence, cruelty, meanness, and karma kind of kicking them in the butt. Yeah, I have a wicked sense of humor. I don't know what else I can say about that without, like, I hope y'all understand. Like, genuinely, if I'm horrified if somebody falls and hurts themselves and, like, nobody will help them. Like, that genuinely horrifies me. I don't find that funny. But I do kind of enjoy it when karma kicks somebody in the butt. I love horror. I like horror stories, horror movies, Halloween. I love horror. And I was actually laughing this morning because I was watching the live knit night that Ross, Smells Like Yarn, does on occasion. I was watching that this morning, and he was talking about a B-rate horror movie, and I was like, oh, where's a pen? I need to write that down. That's what I need to go look for. It was Screamers, I think he said. He said it's an Italian movie that was dubbed in English with a few extra scenes added. One of my favorite bad horror movies is actually Anatomy. And I can't remember. It seems like it takes place in Amsterdam, but I'm not positive. It's so, when it came out, it's so Saw without being gruesome, or it's a very stalkery movie with, like, horrific outcomes. But I have to watch movies like that. I actually hate dubbed movies. It's an extra tidbit there. I prefer subtitles. I find dubbing to be very distracting. And I've actually listened to a couple European YouTubers that I watch, and they were talking about when they get American cinema, they can't watch their native language dubbed. They also feel the same way about the subtitles, which makes me feel better because it's not another Carrie, you're weird moments. But I do find subtitles very distracting, so I do prefer to watch native language with subtitles. But I love horror. I mean, I'm not a hack 'em slash 'em. Halloween is really the only in that genre that I really like, and it's the original Halloween. The original Halloween is very personal and in your personal space. I love the description. I can't remember who had it. That Michael Myers is a shark who's zoning in on his prey and is eliminating obstacles to his prey the whole movie. Cold, no compassion, and you people like Jason, it's just a murder count. Freddy, I actually think kind of I love the concept of the Freddy Krueger movies. Nightmare on Elm Street had a really cool concept to it, but it got cheesy and it became a body count movie, and that's just not nearly as much fun for me. I like Jacques Tourneur movies, Hitchcock movies. I really enjoy the psychological thriller genre more than the hack'em slash'em mass killer genre. But I do enjoy true crime too. So like a murder or two isn't bad for a horror movie, but if it's just guts, gore, and blood, like, not my kind of movie. But the type of thriller where you have to double check your doors and make sure nobody's there's one, she's a deaf lady and there's a guy stalking her. He like enters into her house and is standing behind her while she's working on the computer and stuff. I mean, creepy. And then, you know, your anxiety level just slowly rises over the course of it. But it's not just those. I mean, it's not just the psychological thrillers I like. I also like bad horror movies and enjoy a good laugh out of bad attempts to scare you. Horror is just such a diverse genre. So, anyway. My next one is, okay, so wine, beer, or liquor, which everybody seems to be answering this one. I actually prefer to drink wine when I'm at home. I do like a good mixed drink, and beer is the kind of thing where if you really want a beer, you want a beer. But I actually prefer more ciders to beers. I'm not afraid of normal things. I didn't realize this was weird until a couple years ago, but I really have no fear of death or getting older. And the more people I talk to, the more I realize that's kind of weird. Not to say I'm not afraid of the way I would die. I don't want like a drawn out death or anything, but the concept of dying does not actually scare me. And it also colors how I grieve. I don't go through the grieving stages and processes like a lot of other people do. I respond to death a little bit differently. And aging, to me, just like death, it's a natural, normal thing. It's something we're all going to experience. Why not do it with some grace? And I kind of like more like the French mentality towards aging, where it's okay to age. Just be your best you at every stage in life, and it's all right. I don't want that to end on such a deep dark note or anything, but my gray hairs have been pointed out repeatedly to me in person, where I've got wrinkles showing up. I do have crow's feet showing up, and I tend to move my eyebrows a lot. So like you can see, I mean, I have wrinkles, I have texture. My skin's not perfect, but it's the kind of thing where I'm okay with it. I don't want to be 20 forever. I kind of have enjoyed getting older. I thought I was going to be, when I hit 30, I thought it was going to be, 29.1, 29.2. And it really never bothered me. I hit 34 this year, or 35 this year. Sorry. I'll be 36 in August. And I mean, I'm still young. But I've noticed a lot of my friends who are the same age as me are, and particularly the women, starting to feel anxious and pressure to look young. And, there are a number of things I thought that were driven by being a mother or by being a father or being at a certain point in your career. And I'm just realizing a lot of people respond to turning 30 and turning 40 differently. And I mean, I may have a full-blown midlife crisis at 40 and feel differently about it, but I've actually enjoyed life more at each age I've gotten older, if that makes sense. So for me, getting older is getting better every year. Not that I'm getting better, but every year is better. So that is probably way more information than you ever wanted to know about me. Okay, you can hold my hand. I took my hand away and Pippin kind of freaked out. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hopefully I'll have this up this afternoon or this evening. And I will see you guys. Oh, tags. So I want to tag Sarah at Sarah Bear's Creative Cave, Melanie at Stitch to My Lou, Rose at Rose Likes Crochet, and Cindy at Cindy Hearts Crochet. Hi guys! Hopefully y'all are a lot funnier and lighter than I am. Oh, I forgot the last one. Sorry, that was technically 9. The last one is one that y'all do know. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd and I'm a geek. I really enjoy not just science fiction, but science. And it's not limited to kids shows like Doctor Who. I am an avid fan of Star Trek up until Discovery, which I'm sorry, I just couldn't get into. I used to read comic books as a kid. Now I stick to the movies. I don't read comic books as much anymore. I'm actually, hopefully this won't like make y'all nauseous, but I am actually wearing my Batman pants. No, my sweater does not match my pants. It was kind of chilly when I came up here, so I just grabbed the first sweater I could see. But yeah, I kind of have always been a weird kid, so it just carried into adulthood, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, I've mentioned being a nerd before, but I mean, it spans a lot more than just television and movies. I mean, I've kind of always been that kid. I just didn't have access to, like, I would totally be the kid sitting in the corner at the comic book store on Big Bang Theory if I had had a comic book store in walking distance of my house. And funnily enough, most of my friends didn't realize this about me until after I got married. Like, most of them didn't really understand, like, how deep the nerd vibes went until after I got married. And, I mean, people who had known me for 10 years, like, it was a revelation to them. But I never hid it. So I'm not sure why it was so surprising to so many people when I got outed as liking nerd stuff, geek stuff. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of, and please don't hate me for it, is Star Wars. I've never been able to get into Star Wars, and I don't, if that's your jam, go for it. But I've just never been that into Star Wars, and I mean, I've watched it more than once. I wouldn't turn off Star Wars if it were like the only thing on TV. Like, it's not like I'd shut off the TV and just not watch anything if I really wanted to sit down and watch TV, but I'm just not part of that fandom. So maybe that's a headline for you. Dude, Pippin, here. To be a mommy to a snuggly kitty cat. But yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me awkwardly talk about myself and talk about weird, funny things about myself. Hopefully I didn't offend any of you. And I will see you guys real soon because I'm about to start filming my next video now. Bye, guys.